What is good, guys? My name is Kane. Welcome to my deck profile. I'm doing Virtual World. Let's get straight into it. And let's start with the monsters. I'm playing 3 copies of Virtual World Zexi. Next up, we have 3 copies of Virtual World Kieran Lili. We are then playing 2 copies of Nian Yan, 2 copies of Lao Lao, and we are playing 2 copies of Tao Tao. And the most important of all these monsters here are Extender, Virtual World, Mahime, Lulu. Then we're playing some staple monsters that are meta support. We have 1 Nibiru, we have 1 Ghostmourner Moonlit Chill, 1 Jizakir, the Star Destroying Kaiju, and 1 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Next up, we're going to be looking at spells. So, what I've been playing is I've been playing 3 copies of the main spell, Virtual World City Kowloon, which allows us to, as long as you control a virtual world monster, basically set up our back row support that we need for them. And they have effects depending on what they do. If you have 2, all your virtual worlds gain 200 attack. If you have 3 or more, you can send the top 4 cards of your deck to a grave. 4 or more, special summon up to 4 virtual world monsters with different names from your great extra deck to the field. Basically, really good card. You don't usually see the 4th effect. You usually see everything else. Next thing we're going to do, next thing I have here is 3 copies of Virtual World Gate Kinglong. Kinglong is one of our important cards that allows us to banish a card from grave to negate an effect, or we can also banish itself to search out another virtual world card. Then we have 2 copies of Emergency Teleport. Emergency Teleport is a pretty good card to get your Lulu out. We have 1 copy of Twin Twisters, 1 copy is Called by the Grave, 1 Pot of Avarice, 1 Monster Reborn, and 1 MST. This is meant to be a budget deck and kind of an intro deck for me, so this is my first attempt at locals. And I will say with pride, I did get top 16. I got 12th, I think. I only lost 2 meta staples. Next up, we're going to be talking about the traps. So we play a full play set, which means we're playing 3 copies of Virtual World Gate Chuche, which allows us to basically go back to our banish zone, grab all our monsters out of there, and grab cards we need out of there to also destroy cards in the field. And it's also really good because we can use it to mess with the level modulate. Next thing we're going to be playing is 2 copies of Virtual World Gate Zhanwu, which allows us to exchange battle position, allows us to also banish itself to special summon more monsters from the Virtual World archetype. We then play 2 copies of Storming Mirror Force. This is my personal favorite Mirror Force besides Drowning. This one allows us to bounce cards back to hand, which we're going to definitely need. And then we have 1 copy of Get Out, 1 copy of Red Reboot, 1 copy of Dimensional Barrier, 1 Grand Horn of Heaven, and 1 Solemn Warning. Now, we're going to be going into the extra deck next, so give me 1 moment. Grab these cards real quick. So, let's start simple. We're going to be playing 1 copy of Topologic Zeroboros. This is our last resort card in case we want to make sure to wipe the field. We're going to be playing 3 copies of Virtual World Shell Jaja. We're going to be playing 2 copies of Virtual World Dragon Long Long. We are then going to be playing 2 copies of both Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Griffin. Nightmare Griffin allows us to set up our virtual world cards in the back row if we need to, and if it's co-linked with one of our unicorns, we get access to draw. We also do play 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix. Next up are our 3 or 4 remaining cards. We are also going to be playing 1 Constellar Ptolemy level 7, or M7, which allows us to use level 6. It lets us basically detach material, spin a card back into the deck or hand. We then also play 1 copy of Virtual Beast Yugioh, which makes it so it cannot be destroyed by card effects while having 2 more attributes, different attribute monsters in the grave. They also have different types. Pretty good card. And then we have our boss monster in 2 copies. We have 2 Virtual World QB Shenshen, which is a very powerful card. It's a walking macrocosmos that can keep recurring itself. It was really useful back when True King of All Calamities was the thing. This deck could turbo it out in a single turn. Was never a fan of it myself. Now, we're going to go into the explanation of how the deck works. So, if you give me 1 moment, I will go ahead and show you some of the example cards and show how each of them work. So the main core we're going to be looking at here is the process to get to here. And that is basically your entire goal, turn 1, is to get Shenshen on the field past turn. So, best scenario is if you can get a Lulu in hand, follow it up with a Lili, at least in my opinion. You also want to have a Kowloon, a Virtual World Gate Kinglong, and a Virtual World Gate Chuche. Or if you can't get out Lulu, I recommend Emergency Teleport. So basically the whole point of your playstyle is you want to summon Lulu to the field. You want to first activate King Long, so activate this. You activate this card. You activate Lulu. Lulu allows you to send a card from deck to grave. It's a different type of the card here, so I can send a monster or a trap. Allows us to send it to grave. We're going to send a Zanwu usually. In order to summon it to the field, same thing with Lily. We're going to usually then send our second copy of Zanwu or maybe a Chuche. Usually I do Chuche. From there, we've already set up with that. I activate Kowloon, set up a Chuche from deck to field, and then from there I can immediately synchro in and get to Shen Shen. Basically, this card is really good as well because it has an effect during the battle phase where if it attacks, you can then send banished cards back into your deck, which is a great card and it allows it to recur itself and recurs your deck. It's a consistent style of, not beat down, so to say. It's kind of like I guess a better way of saying it is it's just a recycle effect. Now, I would do a usually I would love to do practice duel, a little time constricted at the moment. Just started college, still in college, so time's not perfect. But this is all I have for the deck profile today. I'll be doing another one in a couple days. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.